I am representing myself as the one and only Leech Master General of the Mütter Museum. And you see an image of my leech Horatio. One of you will be announced to be the lucky winner of a box of chocolate leeches. And I hasten to say, these are 100% chocolate. They are not leeches covered in chocolate. Beautifully decorated jars containing many kinds of drugs and medicines, but also leech jars. I regret to say, by the way, that the Mütter Museum does not own a single example of any of these jars. So if you happen to own one and feel impelled to donate following this presentation, you know where to go. First of all, they're pretty, the medicinal ones. You see two good examples here. They're actually quite pretty. They appear to be dark skinned, but under the right light, you can see the pattern, emerald and ruby triangles and diamond shapes. But the wound that's left by the leech is frequently characterized as the corporate emblem of Mercedes-Benz Corporation. So what is the magic about what's in leech spit? And that's another thing about the leeches. They consume, they fill up their bodies, take a big burp, and they fall off when they're done. Now, I did say a moment ago that leeches are hermaphrodites. Well, Horatio is a male pronoun reference Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And Tuesday, Thursdays, and weekends, it's Horatia, and a female gender pronoun applies. I did not weigh Horatio before the feeding, alas, but here's an after feeding weight on a very, very old postal scale. Now, if I'm reading this right, I've got a quarter pounder here, and they are real shapeshifters. Remember, there's no skeleton here. And one thing I've learned about a leech is don't take your eyes off a leech for a nanosecond. They wander, and they will get into the most unexpected places. When I brought Horatio out in this open Tupperware for everybody to take a look at, briefly excused myself for about 1 minute, came back, and there was no leech. And Leech had managed to slither off the table, down onto the floor, and was making his merry way. And the reason for the giant leeches poster, that is placed next to the aquarium as kind of a morale booster, something to aspire to, and also something to look at. They do have eye spots, but I'm not really sure what they can see. And there's an image of me showing my earlier Harvey and Hunter leeches, Hunter being the one that escaped, and Harvey lived to a ripe old age of about 7.5. They can live up to about 12 or 13. And at the suggestion of a comedian on television, I decided to see if I could register Horatio as an emotional support pet. And to my surprise, not really surprised, but since I paid $30 for it, there are many firms that do this and give you official looking passes like this to present to authorities. I thought it kind of amusing that they asked for a photograph. They said, could you give us a headshot that we could put on the card? So I sent them a photograph of the leech, but what they've actually shown here in the lower left of the card is actually the butt end. So I got a butt shot here. So Mike, I think over to you. I can put my face on the screen if anybody wants to throw things at me.
There we go. Hi, Horatio.
That's my face, huh? All right, so this is Horatio, and trying to climb up my finger at the moment. They move like worms. They move like slugs. They're part of the same family, but they're sophisticated. So you can't exactly say they're the most interactive of pets. Of course, you could take the leech out occasionally and put it in a pan of water and have it near you and say hello every now and then and let it crawl around. But you got to give it full attention, as I say, because it will escape. They're shapeshifters and they can go two-dimensional on you. If you're handling them too much or passing them from hand to hand, maybe to somebody else, they will become very recalcitrant. I've even tried repeatedly to just say, here, on my arm, here, it's been 8 months, feed, good arm, right here, feed. And the leech will maybe attach for a moment, on rare occasions make an incision, and then change its mind, and not even make an incision long enough to introduce the anticoagulant. So there might be a little puncture mark there, but then it just wants to wander off and do something. Leech is not likely to reattach after it's fed. Once it's fed, they're like little bananas. Say hello to everybody, and let's see if I can get Horatio to wave bye-bye. There we go. Not putting up a fight today, are we? So say goodbye to all the folks out there in TV land, laptop land. There you go. Reaching for the camera.
Look at that.
Okay. Horatio says, thank you all very much. Happy to meet you all through this medium. Now get me back in my aquarium.